she looked back to the people in the station. She couldn't say a word, noise and bullets, and she waved with the hands. And this was the last time I saw my mother.
Welcome back to another episode of Inspiration for the Nation. Now, I don't typically travel for this show. I like to do things in the studio. It's always more controlled. It's easier. But there are exceptions. We know there are millions of people that were murdered, slaughtered during the Holocaust. And there were survivors. There are survivors. Rabbi Lau was a child when he survived. He didn't know much about Judaism. And he went on to becoming the chief rabbi of Israel. And we unpack it and talk to him in this exclusive interview about his background and how he got to where he is today. I do this together with my good friend Shlomi Zion, so you'll hear more about. And we asked Rabbi Lau about what happened on October 7th and how does that, if it does, compare to the Holocaust. This episode is in memory of Shimon David ben Yaakov Shlomo, as well as Miriam Sarbas Yaakov Moshe. You will hear about the incredible work Amudim is doing and how you can watch their awesome program they're putting on and you can stand and unite with them. You will also hear about my favorite clothing brand, Twillery, and the surprises that they have for you. You'll also hear about the credible work that Kol Chabad is doing, and you'll also hear about a new book that you should have in your home. We have it in our home, of course, by Mosaic Press. Without further ado, here is our conversation with Rabbi Lau. I'm Yaakov Langer, and you're listening to Inspiration for the Nation. What's your first memory?
First memory. Must be first. First, I remember the child baby of 2-3 years old. This is not a story. It's not a story. A story is what I am going to tell you now. My father was taken to a gas chamber together with my brother of 13 years old. I was in the ghetto on city Piotrków in Poland, where my father served as chief rabbi of the city, but he was taken to Treblinka with my brother, and we were there with a brother Naftali, older than me, 11 years, and my mother. We were in the ghetto 3 years. All of a sudden, after those 3 years, I was 7 years old. An alarm was by the Gestapo, the German, that we must be in 5 minutes in the train station, all the Jews of the city, because we have to leave the city of Piotrków. We came to the train, and they said, schnell, 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 hurry, 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 go on, go on. They were shooting bullets here and there. Go to the train. We came to the train station. All of a sudden they have time, the German, to put us in 2 different groups. Women and children on one side, men who can work on the other side, in the same train station. I was 7.5. Automatically my mother took me to her side, and she kept me among the women and the children. And my brother, who was 18, he was automatically with the men. We understood that they didn't waste time, but they wanted them, the men, to go to work. They can use them. Ladies, women, elderly people, and babies, they have no benefit from those. They are going straight to death. And we were after 3 years in the ghetto with no father, no brother, so we understood that this is the final way. This is the future that the German thought we reserve. All of a sudden, before we went into the camp, to the wagons, my mother pushed me from her towards the men, and she was crying to my brother, Naftali, take the Jesko, take the child. in Polish, take the check. Then my brother said, a boy of 18, Mama, what shall I do with a baby, with a child? She was pushed to the wagon. I stayed with my brother in the station. He had to go in another wagon, the same train. And the last time that I saw my mother is when they are going to close the doors. She looked back to the people in the station. She couldn't say a word. There was noise and bullets. And she waved with the hands. And this was the last time I saw my mother. She couldn't say a word. This was the hello, the shalom of separation. This is a picture you never forget. You go to sleep with this picture. You come up with the picture. 80 years already. This is something unforgettable. This was my mother.
Last time you saw your mother, how old were you?
7.5.
7. And did you realize at the time that it was going to be the last time you saw your mother?
No, but we were pushed to our destiny without knowing via Hinsel again, where shall I go? Where they take me, I don't know.
During the Holocaust, where did you get the strength, the chizuk to continue and not give up?
When I was in Buchenwald, we came with my brother, Naftali. He put me in a sack because he knew that in this place for work, only adults and children are not in Buchenwald. There were no children, no women, no children. He understood that when they will see me out of the train, entering to Buchenwald, I will shoot it in the second. Maybe they even don't spray a bullet for me, just and knock me. And they kill me on the spot. So he took me out from the sack and Chasdei Shamayim, heaven's step. There was a German, an officer there. He saw a child. He had some heart. I don't know how to explain it. He will keep me in Barak number 8, not where the Jewish prisoners are. And I was taken to Barak number 8, among Russian prisoners of the war. They had potatoes every day. Not only 150 grams bread a day. So not to die, to work. And there was a boy of 18, 19 years old, Fyodor from Rostov, and he took over from my brother to keep guard over me. He stole food for me. He made for me something a cover of wool on the ears in the night. I don't have the words to explain it. The German who saved me, his name was Haman.
Really? Wow.
Haman. And he was a Russian boy who was kept in Germany in the street. The German thought that he is a spy, whatever, a boy of 18 years, I don't know, in Germany. The Russian boy. And they kept me a few months on the block number 8 was close to the gate of Buchenwald. People who enter or go out had to pass through this gate, and they could see me in the yard of Barak number 8. One day, I see a group of Yidden, Jews, were taken to the gate to go out. Last way, final solution. There was no gas chambers in Buchenwald. It's a concentration camp. But they can shoot you in a minute. My brother is on his way to the gate. He saw me behind the fence. He saw me in the yard there, of Barak 8. He came to me. He said, Lulek was my Polish nickname. They take me, and I understand that we will not meet again. Because I have to separate from you, I must tell you that if a miracle will happen and you will stay alive, if you will make it, everyone wants to take you with him. Haman wants to take you, Fyodor to take you to Rostov, and the other people say, child, 7.5 years old, I don't know how old you will be if you will survive the Holocaust. Everyone will want to adopt you. And home we don't have anymore. The home in Piotrków, no father. I don't know what happens to mother, where she is, if she is. Thank you, I speak to you frankly. You are 7.5 years old, enough adult to understand the situation. Remember one thing. There is one place that you have to go there. All those who want to take you with them say, excuse me, I'm not going. Back to Europe? Back, never. Took my parents, you took my home, you destroyed everything. I have my home. Say with me together, don't forget it. Eretz Yisrael. I looked at him. I didn't know a word Hebrew. Say again, Eretz Yisrael. This is the place which belongs to us, to the Jewish people, and you will insist on that you are going only to Eretz Yisrael. I remember myself opened an eyes and said to him, Tulek, dlaczego? In Polish, why? I spoke only Polish. Dlaczego? Why this place, Eretz Israel? This is our homeland. We were taken and forced to leave it. But if you will survive by miracle, you go back there. Why is this our homeland? Because this is our home where they don't kill the Jews. Remember, you belong to a state and home where the Jews are not killed. But a miracle happened. He jumped from the train. He smuggled himself at nights to come back to Buchenwald because he promised our father that he will take care on the child. So because to take care on me, he smuggled himself to Buchenwald. Later on, the Consul General of Israel in the city of New York, Naftali Lau Lavi. This one.
We'll be right back to this week's episode. There is something on everyone's minds. Obviously, I shot this video with Rabbi Lau and Shlomi in Israel. This was like either in Tel Aviv or right near Tel Aviv. And I saw firsthand what is going on in Israel. And it's honestly terrible. But there's always people in Israel that need our help. And that's why Kol Chabad has been around for over 100 years, and they are helping Israel's neediest. It's very simple. When you think of how can I make an impact in this world? What can I do? Simply, you could go to Kol Chabad and you could help them help others. So yes, if you want to be active and actually go to Israel and help Kol Chabad give out, the food for Shabbos or clothes for people who can't afford it, or whatever they're doing, you could go on their website to see exactly how much they're doing. It's really unbelievable. But if you can't do that, you could definitely give money, whether it's $18, $100, maybe give every month, give $250 every month and know and feel confident that you are doing something good in this world. Go to kolelchabad.org/living l'chaim. That's kolelchabad.org/living-l'chaim and open your hearts and give as much as you can. Now, we're going to get back into my conversation with Rabbi Lau. But first, before we get back into it, I have to tell you about Twillory. But before that, let me tell you, this episode was one of the hardest episodes I've ever done because we got there, Shlomi and I, and Rabbi Lau's like, great, we're doing the interview in Hebrew. And I'm like, Ani lo mevin harbe ivret tov yofi. And he was adamant. For 20 minutes, we were trying to convince him. And I felt bad. I'm like talking to this, obviously, Talmid Chacham, Chashiv person, Holocaust survivor. And I'm like pushing why this interview should be in English. But kudos to Rabbi Lau for actually agreeing to do it in English. Obviously, his English is amazing. But he feels that he could give over more in Hebrew, which I get, but our audience is in English. But okay, that was a little fun fact about this episode. So thanks again, Rabbi Lau, for doing this in English. He's probably not watching this, but I want to thank my friends at Twillory for being a part of the show for this season and for signing up next season. Thank you all for buying Twillory, loving Twillory. The amount of you that purchased Twillory, it exceeded, like they did not anticipate how many of you will buy Twillory. But you know what? I think there's something to it. There's a magic. There's a reason why people buy their shirts and then buy their shirts again and then buy it again. Not because they need new ones, because it got ruined or something. They're like, I love it so much that I want to turn over my wardrobe into the Twillory wardrobe. I'm right now wearing the Twillory suit. It is the most comfortable suit you've ever worn. If you're the type of guy who gets sweaty, then go ahead and pick up the Twillory ear suit. Pretty sure they have a patent on it, which I think is pretty cool. They have the most comfortable shirts. They have pants that last more than 5 years, stretchy pants, comfy, cozy. I have 2 undershirts from them. I need to get more, and obviously I have a lot more other undershirts. And whenever we're up to their undershirts in the laundry cycle, I get very happy. So you will get $18 off with the code word INSPIRE for the fans here when you spend over $139. For new customers, use the code word INSPIRE and get twilled right up. Now back to conversation with Rabbi Lau.
I think it's important for people to think about that for a second, that your brother was already out of the camp and he jumped off a train and he could have ran to freedom. He could have gone anywhere.
He was free already.
But he came back for you.
It was April 45, last month of the war. But he had a duty, he promised the father to take care, even more than it. My father said to him, it was last night, we are the 37th generation of rabbis in our dynasty in Europe. Maram Padova, Krakow. I want that the chain will be unbroken. Tulek, you are years in the war already, not in the yeshiva. I cannot demand you to continue the chain of rabbis, rabbanim. But if a miracle will happen and the small Lulek will survive. My father left us, I was 5 years old. He has the chance to carry on and to be another, in the chain, another part of the rabbinic chain. Take care that he will go on our way and he will continue the rabbinate. I am, father said, the 37th generation. Gematria, Lamed, Aleph, Vav. Lau is 37. I am the first one in Eretz Israel. I continue the chain. Today I have 3 sons who continue the chain of big Rabbanim. One of them is the chief rabbi of Israel, like I was. But I am the first in the Holy Land.
Wow. You had an aspiration to become a rabbi. You wanted to become a rabbi because not to break the chain. Did you, B'dafka, want to become chief rabbi, or it kind of just happened?
You cannot think about being a chief rabbi. Chief rabbi is one in this generation, to be a Rav, a rabbi, a Jewish leader, to continue the chain, the unbroken chain. I didn't think about chief rabbi. And I was a rabbi of started in a very small synagogue in the southern part of Tel Aviv, the poverty part. After 5 years, to be in North Tel Aviv in a great synagogue, 930 seats in that synagogue, Tiferet Tzvi. I served there 15 years as a rabbi of the whole North Tel Aviv part. Then I was elected, one of 16 candidates, to be chief rabbi of a city, Netanya. When I met your grandfather, 16 candidates. There were elections. They put an envelope, and I was elected. After 9 years chief rabbi of Netanya, the chief rabbinate of Tel Aviv became free. The last one was my father-in-law, Rabbi Frankel, Zatzal. 2 years after he passed away, there were again elections for chief rabbi of Tel Aviv. There were only 2 candidates because people understood that I'm going to be elected. After Netanya, and 15 years in Tel Aviv North, 5 years Tel Aviv South, I was elected to chief rabbi of Tel Aviv. And then 4 years later, the 2 chief rabbis of Israel, Ashkenazi, Rav Shapira, and Sfaradi, Rav Lau, had to finish the duty as chief rabbis. There were elections. There were 3 Sfaradi candidates and 3 Ashkenazim. I was one of the 3 Ashkenazim, and I was elected to be the chief rabbi of Israel.
What did it feel like going from a little boy in the Holocaust and barely going to yeshiva at that point?
I went before the elections. We were 4 o'clock in the afternoon with my brother, who saved my life. We went together to the Kotel to daven mincha. The book that he made ended with the story that this was the second time he went with me to pray mincha at the Kotel. First time was when we came to Israel, straight after World War II, before the state of Israel was established. And then I looked at the stones. I didn't understand where I am. I didn't know one word Hebrew. And the both of us said Kaddish at the Kotel. He said word by word with not understanding one word. And now the second time he said, my brother is going to be the chief rabbi of the state of Israel. Second, this is the end of the book. My brother's book, you know it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure that I'm going to. I didn't work for it. But someone upstairs, he makes all the decisions for us.
You were a little child when the Holocaust ended. You came to Israel. You had no parents who can believe in you and nurture you. You were all alone, yet you accomplished something so incredible that you became the chief rabbi of Israel. Where did you get the inspiration? Where did you get the motivation? Most children in your situation would have ended up in prison. How did you turn yourself into something?
2 people asked me the same question. Yitzhak Rabin, Prime Minister of Israel, was sitting on this chair Friday night for over 4 hours. He asked me the same question. And the other one who asked me the same question, Fidel Castro.
Whoa.
Castro said, if you would come as a child of 8 years old to Havana here in Cuba, with no father, no mother, no nothing, they would use you for the criminal world. As a child, not knowing the language. How did you make it? First of all, I was brought up 5 years till my bar mitzvah by my uncle, in a small city in Israel, Kiryat Motzkin. He was the chief rabbi of Katowice, a very important city in Poland. He was lucky to escape from Poland in 1940 with his wife, who was my father's sister. And they took me to their home when I arrived. My brother went to yeshiva, was almost 19, and I was 8 years old, brought up 5 years till the bar mitzvah by my uncle and my aunt. They almost adopted me. And for them it was, and for me it was clear that I am going in the chain. Even my uncle is a rabbi. He was chief rabbi in Katowice, very close to my father, Piotrków. And in age of 13, I moved from Kiryat Motzkin to Yerushalayim, because one of the Rosh Yeshivas in Yerushalayim, with Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach and Rav Kunstadt, was a young rabbi, Yosef Yehuda Reiner. Rav Reiner was a student of my father in the city of Prešov, Eperies, Czechoslovakia, before Piotrków in Poland. He was announced that this is my bar mitzvah. He sent a letter to my uncle and asking for permission to help me to be what I have to be. Please, I am Talmid, student of his father, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Lau, and I owe him all what I have. So I want, please, give me the chance to take care for the child. I will take care like his father. I came from Kiryat Motzkin to Yerushalayim, Rav Reiner, and I became a yeshiva boy. Have 5 years called Torah in Yerushalayim, a year in Zichron Yaakov, which is today Kfar Hasidim, and then Ponovich and Bnei Barak. And I escaped from the yeshiva 2 hours a day to my cousin, who was a rabbi in Kiryat Ono, Rabbi Frankel Teomim, to learn what a rabbi has to know. Yoreh Deah, Shulchan Aruch, which you don't learn in the yeshiva.
Right. Yeah.
I escaped every day for 2 hours to learn by my cousin. He was older than me many years. He was a rabbi in Krakow after the war and became a rabbi of Kiryat Ono, and he was my first teacher to this part of the rabbinate studies. Yoreh Deah, Shulchan Aruch. And then I married the daughter of a rabbi, Rav Yedidia Frankel, who became the chief rabbi of Tel Aviv, 14 years till he passed away. And then I was elected on his chair. And this is the story.
We're going to be right back to my conversation with Rabbi Lau, and wow, it's he's going to talk about what he thinks about the future. But for right now, if you enjoy books as much as I do, and you enjoy giving books as a gift, you enjoy receiving books as a gift, there's so much power, knowledge, and just goodness. And when I think of books, I think of Mosaic Press. And yes, if you are a listener, you get 18% off when you use the code Word L'Chaim across their site. But we're going to highlight The Warmth and Radiance of Gedolei Yisrael by Rabbi Avishai David. I read this book. I think I read it over Sukkot. That's when I got it. I don't know exactly when it came out. Here's a little feedback from Rav Asher Weiss. I was elated to see the precious sefer of my wonderful friend, Rav Avishai David. He recounts what he saw and heard of his experiences with his teachers, the Gedolei Yisrael. It will bring estimable, clearly I can't read. That's why I use Mosaic Press so I can read better. Musar, wisdom, and Yiras Shamayim to readers. There, and Rav Hershel Schachter left a review, and let me just go through the roster. Basically, this person, I don't know how, he had such a connection with so many Gedolei Yisrael. I mean, I think he obviously worked on his relationships with them. But let me just go through a list of people that you know that you read about a Gadol when they pass away. Well, he takes a lot of those ideas with his personal encounters with Gedolei Yisrael, and he has pages on each of them. Let me go through them. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, Rav Label Dulitz, Rav Tzvi Dov Kanapsky, again, clearly I can't read, Rav David Lifshitz, Rav Nissen Alper, Rav Moshe Feinstein, Rav Moshe Shizgal, Rav Aaron Lichtenstein, and Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, Rav Shlomo Zalman Orbach, Rav Avram Yaakov Akoin Pam, Rav Pam. I read like not even half the list of the people. This is an easy read. It's geschmack. You could even like split it up. You go like, oh, I want to read about stories with him and Rev Pam. Boom. So I highly recommend you go to mosaicpress.com and of course use the code word L'chaim and pick up this book or pick up any book that you want to enlighten your life with. We love Mosaic Press and you will love their books if you haven't tapped into their magic yet. Now we're going to be right back to the episode, but first, and last, I should say, that there's been a lot of things going on in Klal Yisrael, and I think, you know, something that Living L'Chaim we've been trying to do is try to spread the positivity. You know, there's a lot of negative going on online, and I think one of the best ways you could fight that is by just consuming, obviously, Torah and davening for sure, first and foremost, but consuming good content. And you know, I've been involved with Amudim, and that's why I'm so happy to talk about them. Well, Amudim is there. It's for people in crisis, whether it's addiction, abuse, mental health, whatever it is. Amudim is there, and they are there for Klal Yisrael. It's obviously a time that we need to stand and unite with the Klal Yisrael, and obviously what better way to do that than standing and uniting with Amudim. I'll just give you some numbers. I'm a big numbers guy. They've helped over 17,000 cases this year. Over 5,200 cases of abuse, over 2,600 for addiction, over 6,200 for mental health, over 1,600 for at risk. They have Narcan kits, over 13,000, literally over 484,000 crisis calls, and they're spread around 66 countries. We wish Mashiach comes and we don't need them anymore, but we heavily need them. And every year, unfortunately, there's more and more crises that the Jewish people are in, and they are there. So we want you to unite to heal with Amudim. So December 17th through the 18th, coming right up, for 36 hours, they're doing a campaign. They're going to raise money, but they're not just going to raise money and call people and say, hey, give us money. They're putting on a fantastic show with think of all the people that have been interviewed on Living L'Chaim. They're on this show. Alex Clare, Shalom Lemmer, Joey Newcomb, David Bashefkin, Lipa, Nachum Siegel, Rabbi Ari Lamb. I'm just listing that. Rabbi Ben Shushan, Arki Steinman. It was a fan favorite of Judah Michelle. Oh my gosh, Rabbi Lightstone. So many. I listed like 30% of the fantastic people on this program. So go ahead and watch their program and open your hearts. Give to Amudim. Stand with Amudim. You could obviously go to their website to watch this entire program, unitedtoheal.com. This is for 36 hours straight. So go ahead, look at the roster, look who you want to see. Maybe you want to watch everyone. Do a 36-hour marathon of watching all their beautiful content. They're doing beautiful things, and they're standing with Israel, standing with the Jewish people, and you can stand behind them and help them unite to heal. Amudim. Now back to our conversation with Rabbi Lau. What was the biggest challenge for you when you were the chief rabbi? Like, there's Haredi, there's not Haredi, but to me, you did a very good job making sure there's an achdus.
Achdus. To explain Judaism to those who don't have the chance to know it by themselves. This was my first thing. After being a student in Ponevezh, I was a teacher of Gemara in 2 gymnasiums in Petach Tikva, secular. Gymnasium on the name of Achad Ha'am, the other one, the gymnasium of the name of, forget, 2 years I taught Talmud in secular gymnasiums, and I found a straight way with them. I will never forget when they ended the first year, one of them came to me and said, Rabbi, I am going in 10 days from now, I'm going to the army, service of 3 years. I don't believe that I will study somewhere in my future. because we are a poor family. And after 3 years in the army, I will be 21. I have to help my parents, their economy, to bring money for the family to buy food. So this is my last day studying. Before I go to life, before I go to the army, there is one thing that bothers me. As you know, my name is Moshe Toren, and only you can give me an answer. It bothers me all the time. What is it? There was Moshe or there was no Moshe? It's an imagination, it's a bluff, or it's true. It's an history. Was Moshe or not? You have to convince me, to tell me that there was Moshe. My name is Moshe. I must know that it happened. It's not fantasia. I remember even I was shocked from the question. A boy of 18 years, born in Israel, in Piotrków. I don't know if you want. And he explained to me there were all kinds of teachers till you came. You came to the last year. One teacher said it's a literature, imagination, all kinds of bluffs. I said to him, do you believe that there was a Napoleon? He said, sure. Do you see a picture of Napoleon? Is then a picture taken of Napoleon? No. And all the world is sure that it was Napoleon Bonaparte. Why do you start on Napoleon and Moshe not? There are no pictures, but there is the whole Torah, the whole Bible based on the Chamisha Chumshei Torah. And Yetziat Mitzrayim, it's an history part. There is some clever man who denies the fact that we were slaves in Egypt and we were out from slavery to freedom, received the Torah and went to Eretz Israel. Why do you put the question mark? Napoleon was, even you never met him and you never saw a picture of him. And other kinds. Julius Caesar was. Alexander Magdon happened. Yeah. How do you know? History. This is also history. What is history? Story. So,
when your brother was telling you that after the war you need to go to Eretz Yisrael because Jews are not being killed there. Now we're in 2023 and sadly we see that Jews are being killed in Eretz Yisrael. What does that mean to you through the context of your history?
Everyone asked me today, it reminds you the Holocaust, it's the Shoah, what happened in the Simchat Torah. What they say, October 7th, was Simchat Torah. They slaughtered children, women and children, men. It's like the Holocaust. It's not like the Holocaust. I deny it. In the Holocaust, we were lonely. So they could slaughter 6 million Jews in 3 years. 6 million. Today, we have a home. We have an Israeli army, our boys, our brothers and sons who are ready to sacrifice their lives to protect the families, the nation, and the land. So it's not the same. We were alone during the war. Who helped the Jews to survive? Who went to the war to survive Jews? Neither the American army, nor the British army, nor the French army, and nor the Soviet army. They fought Hitler, they fought the Nazis, but they didn't fight any of them to save a Jewish person, a Jewish child. to save the Jews? No one said it. They didn't declare even once of them that we are going to save the people who are not crime. They didn't say, make a crime, anything. We have to save them. Not Roosevelt and not Churchill, no Stalin and no de Gaulle. None of them went to a war to save the Jews. Now, this is not the same situation of today. Today, all of them are afraid of us. We made in 1948 the independence war against 7 Arab nations. And then we had Mifsa Kadesh on 56. And then we have the 6-day war against 3 states together, Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. In 6 days, we won the battle of all the 3 fields. Very few years later, 7 years, the Yom Kippur War. We were attacked all of a sudden in Yom Kippur. 2 states against us, Egypt and Syria. We were not prepared. 18 days, we won the battle. Can you tell me if United States of America, our good friend and the greatest land today, did they won a battle in 5, 7, or 18 days? Where? In Korea? In Vietnam? In Cambodia? In Pakistan? In Afghanistan? In Iraq? 7 days? 3 countries against you? Who made it? Who made it? Russia and Ukraine, they finished the war in 7 days? Not yet. It's the 2nd year already. And we did it. Because we have a Father in heaven. And He wants us to be in our homeland. Suffering on the way, but finally we are at home and we became heroes. Everyone knows it. Have you heard Entebbe? 7 hours flight to save some Jews who were kept by Idi Amin in Entebbe in Uganda. We saved them. No one came in Europe at those time to save us because we didn't have the state of Israel, which could make it in Entebbe as they make it in all the wars around. We are here forever, till Messiah will come to save us finally.
Recently, you were in Abu Dhabi for the wedding of Avi Berkowitz, right? You officiated his wedding in an Arab country as the former chief rabbi of Israel. And in the past few years, we've seen advancement between Israel and its Arab neighbors, but now we're seeing a big fight with Israel and the Palestinians. Do you think Jews and Arabs can get along? Do you think there can be peace in Israel with the Palestinians?
I think that there is no one who can give the answer. Because by the Palestinian countries, the changes are all the time, they change. All this Abu Dhabi, would they believe that they will participate with the Jewish people? It's Israel. Egypt, who fought against us in the independence war, in the 6-day war, and in Yom Kippur war. Today, they are quiet, and we have ambassadors, diplomatic relationship. Jordan, who made us so suffering in the 6 days war in Jerusalem. Hussein, and even today his son, they are quite friendly with us. They are ambassadors, one to the other. So to give you an answer, what will be with the Arab, with the Palestinians in the future, I don't know. I know who is Abu Mazen. With Abu Mazen, we cannot make a friendship. He is anti-Semite. He hates the Jewish people. All his history, all his background is anti-Israel, anti-Judaism. But after Arafat and Abu Mazen, I don't know who will be. Maybe someone who will come to Yerushalayim and sign an agreement with us, like the others who said it in America and New York now. You remember?
If someone's watching and they want to do something to grow closer to Hashem, what should they do? They want one message, one takeaway from you.
The first thing is to be proud to be a Jew. Second is to learn, to study, not to be ignorant, to know the Bible, to know the Shulchan Aruch, the laws of the Jewish people, the laws of our history, the laws of our tradition. Learn, know. There are very many Jewish people, youngsters especially, who don't know the Jewish tradition, the Jewish history, and the Jewish laws. And there is so many to learn it, to know it. And then come to Eretz Israel. When you sing at Leila Seder, Leshana Habaa B'Yerushalayim Habnuya, and the end of Yom Kippur again, Leshana Habaa B'Yerushalayim with a shofar. Do it! Just to sing twice a year and being still there, come here, this is your home, not mine. We will praise you because we love every Jew everywhere, especially when he comes on Aliyah and he wants to be. It's not easy. There's difficulties, but the language, profession, but finally everyone finds himself here, knowing that this is home, waiting for the full redemption of the Jewish people when Messiah will come soon as possible.
Amen.
Toda Rabba.
Thank you so much for watching or listening to this week's episode. First and foremost, go ahead and go to my good friend Shlomi Zion's YouTube channel. There'll be links in the show notes. You could check out his Instagram. I call him my YouTube Rebbe. I thank God we've had a lot of success at Living L'Chaim. And when I have a question, I go to Shlomi because you will see his content. He puts out beautiful, original content, and we need more Shlomis in the world because he does a great job, and I am honored that he came along on this ride. If you want a different person to co-host an episode with me, go ahead and leave that in the YouTube comments or Spotify comments. I'm open. I want to hear what you have to say. I value what you have to say. And if you got this far in the video or the audio, go ahead and say never again. Of course, this is an episode with a Holocaust survivor. We have a few Holocaust survivor episodes coming up. Each person that survived the Holocaust, there's so much to unpack, to talk to, and learn from. They are so strong. And if you enjoyed this video, we are going to link an episode with a fantastic Holocaust survivor that I interviewed. I don't want to give away. It's obviously very, very different than my conversation with Rabbi Lau, but you'll be able to see it on the screen here. It's going to be popping up, and if you're listening to this and you have no clue what I'm talking about, you can go ahead in the link in the show notes. You're going to see a link to listen or watch that episode with the other Holocaust survivor that I interviewed. And if you have not yet, go ahead and support the people who support us. Go ahead and pick up that new, fresh book from Mosaic Press. Use any book that you see on their site that you're like, hey, that's awesome, because they have so many awesome books. Of course, use our code word L'chaim. And go ahead and support our friends at Kol Chabad for the incredible work that they're doing. Yes, you hear me talking about them a lot, but they also still need help, unfortunately. So go ahead and be that person who will be on the giving side. Go ahead and check out Twillery. Use code WORDINSPIRE for $18 off if you have not got anything yet from them. Highly recommend checking out their earsuit, their shirts, their pants, so much. And last but not least, go ahead and check out the program coming right up the day away, or when I don't know when you're exactly listening to this, but Mudim's event, you can find the link in the show notes to see their program, and of course, stand with them, support them. They are doing incredible work for the Jewish nation. Until next time, you can be inspirational. L'chaim. Living L'chaim.